Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Bright Star Astrology. Today I want to talk to you about Mars in Cancer. Now Mars has entered Cancer on the 3rd of April and he's going to be there until the 7th of June. During this time Mars is going to aspect the signs of Capricorn, Aquarius and Libra. So those signs, including Cancer, are really going to be feeling the effects of Mars in this sign and its aspects to it. Mars is also going to get an aspect from Rahu, who is currently in Pisces together with Saturn until the end of May. So there's definitely a strong desire to get things done. It's a very energetic aspect, but it can also be quite an erratic aspect. Now Mars is the planet of ambition, determination, action, forward movement. Mars is decisive, but also quite impulsive. But also Mars shows a lot of courage. Now, in the sign of Cancer, Mars doesn't feel too comfortable in this sign. In fact, it's debilitated in this sign. So there's a bit of a lack of ambition. Mars is called the defeated warrior in the sign. There's a bit of lack of courage, and maybe we're all feeling a little bit exhausted from all this running around, all this pedaling around, trying to get things done. Mars also stands for muscles, so some of us may be feeling a bit of tension in our muscles. We may need to do a bit more stretching and going to the sauna and so on. This is now also the 3rd time since October that Mars is crossing into Cancer. So it's finishing up business from whatever started in October, or whatever hasn't worked too well since October, because Mars doesn't feel too comfortable in Cancer and he's getting the aspect of Rahu. Now, some of us may have wanted to initiate things and it hasn't worked out. So Mars is really in the home stretch now until June to get things sorted, to go back and focus on whatever we started in October and that needs to be finished or eventually moved forward. There's some forward movement around the 29th of April when Mars crosses the 11 degrees in Cancer, which is the degree he went retrograde on in December. So from then onwards we'll see some new information coming in, new things that we didn't know before, and there should definitely be some forward movement from that point onwards. He's also getting a bit of help from Jupiter at this time. I'm not sure any other astrologers talk about this, but there's also I also take into consideration Gemini aspects, and Gemini's aspects are sign aspects rather than planetary aspects. So from from Taurus, Jupiter is helping Mars through your networks, friends, older siblings. They can provide a bit of support at this time. But let's jump into the individual signs. Now Aries, this is your ruler. Mars is your ruler, and when he's in the 4th house and not feeling too great, it has to do with your home, your mother, your home comforts, maybe your childhood home. But in any case, it's a time to focus on these things that need to be done in the house, around the house, whether you like it or not. You probably had to do some of that already over the last few months, and you're a bit fed up with it all now. This constant pedaling around, trying to figure out what needs to be done. Perhaps your mother needs some help. Perhaps you're just not feeling up to whatever you need to focus on. But in any case, you're now wanting to be successful at work. There's an intense desire through Rahu's aspect to be successful at work. But you're feeling a little bit all over the place. There's just too much going on at home. But still, as I said in my introduction, after the end of April, you should see some forward movement in the areas of work, of home, and also in terms of achieving your goals. Rahu and Saturn are together in the sign of Pisces. Rahu is aspecting your sign. So this desire to achieve your goals now will drive you forward and help you get places, despite the obvious roadblocks and delays that you're now facing. Again, the aspect from Jupiter offers some protection from your network, from your older siblings. Reach out to your friends. Maybe there's someone who can help you, who can mentor you now through these times while you're focusing on your home life and also your relationships, also your friendship network and what it is you're trying to achieve. Good luck, Aries. You're on the home stretch. I'm sure it'll all be fine come June. Now, Taurus. So Mars is in the third house. Mars in the third house is basically intense willpower now to market yourself, to take the initiative, to drive and succeed in your career. You and your partner definitely have an eye on planning a trip, perhaps even to educate yourselves, to undergo some new training. But this is an aspect where you're planning some long haul trips, perhaps even with your friends. But it's definitely something that takes you away from where you're living, from your day-to-day surroundings. And it doesn't necessarily need to be physical. You can also connect with people from further away, people that live on the other side of the world. Perhaps you take an online training course that means that you connect with these people that live on the other side of the planet. But you just need to be a little bit careful with when it comes to your younger siblings. Perhaps they're going through something, or don't get into any arguments with your neighbors at this time. Mars is moving into your fourth house soon, so that's your home life, your physical place where you live. So you don't want to start any arguments with your neighbors at this point. So your health, you may also want to take care of your health. Also co-workers, they might stressing you out a little bit now. There's a lot of activity in your 11th house. So Saturn was in your 10th house for a long time now. You've probably sorted out a lot of issues at work. Maybe your boss has changed, but you are the one who's going to be achieving a lot over the next few months, and maybe there's a bit of jealousy from your co-workers at this time. But don't pay too much attention to it. You're on the home stretch as well. Come the end of April, you should really see some betterment in this situation here. But in any case, you've got a lot of courage now, and you're really working hard towards making a change in your professional life. And Taurus, you've deserved it. You've earned it. Now, for you, work is just so all-consuming now. You're really being put under pressure now. You're so busy with work. It's almost like you can't focus on anything else. You're under a lot of pressure now. You may be even drowning in all of this workload, and you're being pulled into all sorts of directions at work, especially. So it may be all a bit too much for you, and you're not in the mood to just say what you think without a filter. You're blunt. You finally, you're never shy saying what you want to say, but now is really the time where you really put your foot down, especially when it comes to finances. So Gemini, you're really in for a bit of a payout now that you've been probably waiting for some time on. You've been waiting on some money being paid, or it could be that you're going for a new job and you're really not shy to say how much you want to earn now. But in any case, there's also a little bit of resentment around finances, maybe family finances, but don't worry past the end of April. You should definitely see some forward movement. It's also bonus season here in the UK anyway, and it's also tax season again here in the UK anyway, so you may be sorting out your tax, maybe sorting out your finances, family finances, but really the money's coming to you now, and perhaps you're even going on a bit of a spending spree if you can afford it. Well, if you can or can't afford it, just keep your purse a bit close to you. You never know what's around the corner. Yeah. There's also an aspect onto your fifth house now. Your fifth house is about children, your creativity. So somewhere in between all of this, you're also in the mood for some flirting, to have a bit of a good time. You're under so much pressure, Gemini. So go and enjoy yourself. Despite these busy times, don't think about the workload too much. It's all gonna sort itself out very soon. Now Cancer, wow, Mars is in your first house. Mars is also your yoga karaka, which basically means the 10th lord and the 5th lord together in the first house. So you really, Cancer, it's your time to shine in your career. You're unusually outgoing and forceful when it comes to demanding the best from your career, really. The aspect onto the 4th house also means that you're focusing on your family home. There's pressures to focus on lending your mother a helping hand, sorting out family finances, inheritance, tax, and so on. These kinds of things are also on the cards. But you've got a lot of energy to do all of these things now. Perhaps you'll even go out and exercise more than you would have done. Now, your older siblings could be a bit of help to you in this time, or your network circle, your circle of friends. So there's a lot of support around you as well, to go out and achieve your goals and have a bit of fun, quite frankly. Just don't be too bossy now. It's an emotional placement regardless, Mars in Cancer. And you're finishing off, or you're finishing off, continuing what started in October. Maybe there's a home move on the cards. Maybe your children needed some support, or you're looking for some career progress. All moving a bit more slowly now, but you have all the information and insights you need now. Just manage your stress levels a little bit, go and exercise, and all will be well come the end of April, and in particular early June. Leo, Mars is in your 12th house. You want to move forward, but there is definitely a bit of anxiety going around at this point. You've got a packed 8th house with all this pile up of planets in Pisces now. So there's definitely a bit of anxiety, not sure what's going to come next. And you may also be feeling as if you're being overlooked, which, Leo, that's definitely not something that you'd want. There might also be some people scheming against you, but fear not. Come June, all that will be definitely sorted. In the meantime, just focus on your own well-being, listen to your dreams, and try and retreat a little bit. Try and get away from it all if you can. Spend the time by yourself if you need to. Spend the time focusing on meditation, on doing what feels good for you to recharge your batteries. The ruler of your sign, the sun, is also in the 8th house, so it's definitely a time of transformation. You'll come out like a newly born butterfly at some point, but a bit of restraint is just needed at this point. So Um, Virgo, for you, it's all about plans that have started in October and that have kind of stalled since then. For you, it's about friendship networks, it's about achieving your goals, who you want to get involved in, how you want to achieve your goals. But it's also about the money you earn from your work. So you're going through so much change right now. There's this huge pile up in the seventh house. The seventh house has to do with your partnerships, your place of work, looking for new work, signing contracts. But you are all about wanting to achieve those goals now. So there is definitely a little bit of a hold up still, a little bit of a hiccup, but it's definitely time for interviews, finishing off courses, finishing off these big research projects, and then go out and make those new contacts, especially for work. But also, quite clearly, it's about relationships. So if you're looking for a partner, if you're looking for a long-term relationship, Virgo, really, this is your time now to go and make it happen. And there might even be someone in your friendship circle now. So really, you're working hard to achieve your goals. You get involved with groups of people. Just tread a little bit carefully. You're very assertive these days, and friends might not always appreciate what you say or how you say it. Perhaps you can be a bit nitpicky now. Mars also aspects your second house of finances and your speech. So be a little bit careful with that. But when it comes to finances, this really is a good time to recoup what maybe you've lost, or maybe it's time to ask for a pay rise. Now, your partner may also be under a bit of stress now. So it's about, finding a balance with his needs and your needs and where you want to go. But keep the focus on achieving your goals. Go and do some networking to take your mind off the relationship pressures. Now, for those wanting to get pregnant, Mars has an exalted aspect onto the fifth house. Jupiter's also throwing an aspect onto the fifth house. So there's definitely some effort that goes into getting pregnant. I would just say that maybe from June it might be a better time to actually achieve these goals. So just be a little bit careful when it comes to that. Now, Libra, Mars is your Maraka planet. It's about endings, about transformations. It's about changes for you. And in your 10th house, it's really about career issues. Bigger changes are afoot. Maybe you've got a new boss. There's definitely an increasing workload. I find whenever Mars is in the 10th house, there's a lot of work. And especially in your case with a packed 6th house now. So yeah, you're drowning in a bit of all of this workload and work stresses and work colleagues placing their demands on you and you having to sort it all out. There's lots of back and forth when it comes to work, when it comes to, perhaps even interviewing for new jobs. There's a lot of going back and forth and then a lot of change. People are changing their minds. A bit of arguing over how things are done. But just don't get too worked up about it. You're a bit hot-headed right now. Mars throws its aspect onto your sign as well. But it's still, it has directional strength in the 10th house. So you will be achieving a lot at work now. And people will notice that now. You could even set up your own company now, move into a new direction. You've definitely got a desire to achieve all of this now. Bigger and better things are on their way. But still, it causes some stress at home. There are things that need to be finished up at home. There's this tuck and pull between your work life and your home life now. But Mars has an exalted aspect onto the fourth house of your home. So whatever needs to be sorted out at home, or, if you're looking to move house or finishing off these renovations that have been ongoing for quite some time now, you'll definitely see some progress there. The only thing is that your partner may be under some stress now. The seventh house for you, Libra, is Aries, and Mars rules Aries. So in Cancer, your partner may be going through some stuff. Just lend your partner a helping hand if you can. If you're single, now this is not a bad time at all. You're quite energetic, focusing on wanting to seek new relationships, wanting to seek some romance. So yeah, you might find that you meet someone special at this time. Scorpio, similar to Aries, so Mars is the ruler of your sign. So you just may be feeling a little bit exhausted. Mars has just gone through your 8th house, and you will have seen a lot of transformation during that time. Again, there's maybe a bit of anxiety still lingering. You've just had Saturn going through your 4th house of home and emotions and well-being and how you feel about life, and your home life. So you may have moved, or your mother may have had some health issues, but you've come through all of this now, but still you're just feeling a little bit exhausted now. You're still treading water without making the kind of progress that you're hoping to make, but this really won't last for much longer. The focus really is on travel now. You want to discover new things, experience new things. Maybe you're doing a new course, new training, higher knowledge. It's about philosophy, maybe a bit of religion, spirituality, but really the focus is on all your travel sectors. So the 9th house, the 12th house, and the 3rd house. So even if it's short term, long distance, talking to people at the other end of the world to take a course, this is the time to do it now. But still, in your case, there's also a little bit of work stress. Despite all of this desire to travel and the focus on new training, the workload is still there. The daily life, daily routines are quite heavily influenced by Mars now. So you need to just spend some time sorting through these things, maybe help your father with his affairs or his health issues. You're just being asked to provide some support there. For those at university, learning and studying, essay writing, handing in your dissertations, you're on the final stretch now. It's also the time of the year when the school year is almost about to end. So really, Scorpio, you're in the home stretch now. Also, when it comes, some of you might be finding new tenants or signing a new lease for a new house. So this is the time to do that now. And come the end of April and especially June, all of that will be sorted now. Sagittarius, Mars is in your 8th house of transformation, of tax, of other people's money, of inheritances, but also it's the house of grief and some worries and some anxieties. It's about you going through a period of time where you may have to just shut the door sometimes, shut yourself away. Also, all of this pile up in your home sector in the 4th house just basically means that you really want to spend some time in the house sorting through some stuff that's been causing you some stress, or even preparing for a house move, a house renovation, etc., etc. Just be careful that you don't get into arguments with your spouse over money and joint finances. There's some issues there now that have been ongoing since October. So just work through them and make sure that you don't start unnecessarily arguing with your partner. And if your partner's in that kind of a mood, maybe it's time to find some techniques to appease the situation a bit better. So contentment at this time is not too super easy to get by, but you'll get through this, Sagittarius. You're a very resilient sign. You always look on the bright side of things, and especially when Jupiter lands in your sign in May, this is really a growth period for you. So don't fret over prickly Mars being in Cancer at this point. Now, Capricorn, Mars is a Maranasthana for you, which means that the planet Mars isn't super helpful in your case. It causes a bit of challenges for you at this point when it comes to relationships, when it comes to your younger siblings, and there's a bit of reduced motivation. Some conflicts, so channel this energy a bit more carefully, and don't get into any arguments with your spouse. Don't provoke or just get provoked, and choose your battles quite carefully. You're full of energy now, but your partner may not feel the same or not share your enthusiasm at this point. But still, the aspect onto the 10th house of your career, there's some changes afoot at work, or you want to make a change. You're looking into perhaps even self-employment, a little bit of a sideline for you. So you're looking perhaps to partner with someone. And this has been ongoing for a few months now, back and forth, and maybe soon you'll be signing on the dotted line to make this partnership official. Some of you may also be thinking about moving away for that reason. In any case, if you're single and you're more open towards a new relationship now, perhaps even from your friendship circle. There's a lot of heat and passion at this point, so channel this energy wisely, and come the end of April, when Mars has crossed over the point where he's gone retrograde, and certainly from June, these relationship issues will have sorted themselves out, and other people won't be quite so forceful and meddling in your affairs. Good luck, Capricorn. Now, Aquarius, Mars is in your 6th house. This really means you are the one who's rising above the competition at this point. Saturn has moved out of your sign, thank God for that, which has been an enormous growth period for you. You've worked so hard on yourself to turn into this beautiful new butterfly that you are. You're just, at this point, being a little bit impatient, a little bit irritable. There's an aspect onto your sign now from Mars, so you're quite forceful in demanding what it is that you want. You're also very focused on keeping yourself fit at this point. Mars in the 6th house is quite good for that. Just be careful with injuries now, because Mars is still debilitated in Cancer. So in all of this work stress and focus on health, and maybe even, stuff going on at home, some financial matters that need to be sorted out, just try and find some time for yourself at home. Go and meditate to re-energize yourself. Mars has the full aspect now onto some of your travel houses, so that's the 9th house and the 12th house. So there's definitely this desire to book this summer holiday or book this retreat. You've got Jupiter in your 4th house now, so it's a really good time to go within and spend some time recuperating from the stresses you've had over the last 3 years probably. before you can go full out again once Mars has moved over the point where he went retrograde at the end of April, and certainly by June this work stress will have eased for you. Now Pisces, what a time for you. You're under the spotlight really, and you're feeling the pressure from all sides at the moment. You've got a packed full house. Saturn has entered your house. Rahu is still there. You've got the Sun, Mercury and Venus there, and then of course Mars in the 5th house. So really you're under some pressure now. And Mars in the 5th house, it's all about the way you think, pleasures, entertainment, fun, flirting, but it's also the house of pregnancy and all other creative endeavors. So if you're looking to get pregnant, maybe be a little bit careful at this point. Mars in the 5th house and in Cancer, there might be a desire there, but it might not be the best time to actually achieve this goal now. So there's a bit of anxiety around that. It's a bit better later on in the year when Jupiter moves into the 4th house, and Jupiter in the 4th house really expands your family life, in your home life. So there's a much better chance at that point, I think, to achieve this particular goal. So with the aspect on the 11th house, however, you really want to achieve your goals now, also financial goals, and to get what you deserve out of your workplace. Still, it's also the end of the tax year here in the UK anyway, so you're going to have to sort through some taxes at this point, other people's finances, focus on spouses, your spouse, joint finances basically, and what the both of you bring to the table and what you can afford, perhaps to achieve your joint goals. So Pisces, wishing you all the best. The pressures won't last for much longer, and look forward to June.